time at the patient roundtable, and we thought we'd bring this group of people together to really talk about the patient perspective in relation to the summit and the sorts of things that we should be thinking about. So I'm very pleased to have this group together, and I thank them for their time, and also thank Janelle Bowden, who has helped us coordinate it. So I think you'll find this very, very interesting. So I'm here with David and Jessica, and the question that we have for you now is really about how our industry can better educate about the process of developing vaccines and treatments, or be involved in clinical trials. What do you think we can do?
Government and other organisations still have a lot of work to do in this area, and with, as we've just been discussing around vaccines, I don't think they can put out enough information to keep the general population educated and to allay fears that a lot of people have. So I think that work it should be increased and continue right up until when we start with the vaccine. And as I've said before, I think the government website that is educating us around clinical trials is very good. We need that level of information clearly available. But even with the clinical trial information that's out there, there's still a lot of misunderstanding around clinical trials. Fears about, am I going to have a placebo or the real thing, and what's going to happen at the end of the clinical trial. So even though there is good information, there's still a lot of misunderstanding and reticence for people to join clinical trials, and of course it's going to be even more so with the vaccines.
If we're looking for silver linings, and gosh, we have to, because this year has thrown so much at us, is that it has provided a really wonderful teaching moment for not just educating patients, but educating the community about the drug development process and the medical technology development process, and also the regulation processes. We're seeing that mainstream media interest in these things, and I think we really should be utilising that as much as we can to provide the community with accurate, high quality information sources. I think sometimes when there's a lack of the right type of information, and by that I mean that like bite-sized, accessible, consumer-friendly types of information, or perhaps when there's a lack of also media understanding about things, that can appear as though it's a lack of transparency, even when it might not be. So we really do have to work to better collaborate to understand what the questions that the community has about these processes, and develop tools and resources to help them understand, and perhaps provide media with better understanding so that they can then share it. Accessible information is really key. It's something that I'm really passionate about, as you know, and it's developing it in a way that is where the community are at, in a way that captures them, engages them, and it doesn't require them to go somewhere else. We're targeting it in the places that they look for information, and making sure that it appears top ranking on Google, first page of Google, making it in bite-sized chunks that can be shared on social media, making sure that there is that consistency of messaging, which I think we've touched on today, that's really important, because without that lack of consistency, it does become very, very confusing. But really serving the community the type of information that they need to make informed choices about treatment pathways, and also to participate in a potential vaccination when it comes.
Yeah, thank you. And look, I think part of the issue is that in developing these kind of vaccines, it's not one individual group. It's numbers of companies. It's CROs. It's government. It's hospitals. So there's not one single voice that would be giving this information out. So it makes it more difficult. But it'd be really great to hear from the rest of the panel now about this.
I have two things. One is that people who already have very high health literacy, what they want when they want more information is for published articles to be open access, and for data from publicly funded trials, the anonymised data, to be accessible, so that people can inform themselves not just about the conclusion in the abstract, read about what actually happened in the trial. But for people with lower health literacy, someone made a suggestion to me, because I've been involved in a lot of different attempts through the media, social media, as well as traditional media, to raise interest and understanding in what it means to be a participant and to try and recruit more people to be participants. And someone said, we should have a documentary or a documentary series that takes a trial and throws a participant, and first they meet this person who's designed the protocol information for the patients, and then they meet someone who takes their bloods, and then the documentary goes and looks at the people who work on the bloods in the lab. And so to actually make the experience, first of all, of being a participant, but also explaining what the very many different types of staff actually get up to in order to constitute a single trial.
I'm involved in several organisations. Creaky Joints Australia is to do with the arthritis community. We have a website, but I'm also a co-leader of a support group for people with arthritis. It's called the Young Women's Arthritis Support Group. And we do more face-to-face meetings or Zoom meetings this year, and also a lot of communication via our Facebook page. And quite often, sorry, I should say several times a year, we do get asked to share clinical trial information with our members that way. And I think we could be doing a lot more of this, that pharmaceutical companies or other organisations, that yes, they might be going to the main peak bodies for each of the conditions, but get onto the patient organisations too, because we've got a huge network. And people come to us for information, and we only pick the information that we know is proven, is reputable, it comes from universities and things like that. So tap into our network, because we can help recruit a lot more people for clinical trials. We're trying to do as much as we can, but people still need to let us know when they're happening as well.
There's great need for us to be able to communicate out the benefits of clinical trials, to help people understand how vaccines can be developed, and coordinate across industry and government to get that information out. So thank you very much for that, everybody.